12th class, good morning students. Today we are going to discuss our chapter electrostatics. Electro mean charge and statics mean rest. So we are going to discuss charge at rest. Charges are of two type. Number one is plus q and minus q. So what is charge? Charge is the property of a matter due to which it can affect or produce electric effect. And here this plus and minus sign shows the polarity of charges. Next, like charge repel each other and unlike charge attract each other. Next topic is Coulomb's law. So what is Coulomb's law? Coulomb's law states that force of attraction or repulsion between two charged particles is directly proportional to the product of both the charges and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. Next, if we remove this proportionality sign, what we will get? We will get F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. And if we want to write this force in vector form, what we have to do? We have to add direction into this formula. So it will become K Q1 Q2 by R square into direction of force. So what is the direction of this force? This force will have a direction of R. Why? Because here K, Q1, Q2, all of these are scalar quantity, only R can be in vector form. So we add the direction of R. By putting the value of R cap, we will get F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R cube into R vector. Okay, we will put R vector value from R vector is equal to R का magnitude divided into direction of R, and vector quantity is equal to magnitude into its direction. Okay, our next topic is superposition principle. Superposition principle. So if we write this force for multiple charges and we want to find out the force on zeroth particle, assume this is the zeroth particle and these are all other charges. They all charges applying force on this zeroth charge. So what will become the total force on zeroth charge? It will become summation of K Q naught Q I divided by R I naught whole square. If we take out the constant terms or the terms which are not changing in summation, and value of summation is equal to I is equal to 1 to n by summation की वैल्यू कहाँ से कहाँ तक बेटा 1 to n, it will become q I by r I naught का square. So this is our superposition principle. Our next topic is charge distribution. Charge distribution beta. So what is charge distribution? Charge can be distributed over an linear, over an surface and over an volume. So when charge is distributed over an linear, then it will become linear charge density, and linear charge density will become equal to Q by L, means amount of charge distributed over an length. Similarly, for surface charge density, our charge will be distributed over an area, and volume charge density will in volume. Volume charge density is denoted by rho, surface charge density written by sigma, and our linear charge is denoted by lambda. So these are our charge distributions. Charge have a grainy nature, but these are very small in nature, that's why we take them as continuous. Our next topic is electric field. Next topic is electric field. So what is electric field? Electric field is the force experienced by a unit test charge. From here we can also find out the value of force, which will become equal to F is equal to Q into E. Our next topic is dipole. So what is dipole? Dipole means which have two poles, two equal and opposite charge. Here we have take plus Q and minus Q. These are equal and opposite charges which are separated by a fixed distance, which we take as 2a. So this is our dipole, and strength of dipole is known as dipole moment, written by P, which will become Q into 2a. The strength of dipole is known as dipole moment, or we can say that dipole moment represent the strength of our dipole. Now let's come to next topic. Our next topic is electric field due to dipole. Now electric field can be on axial and equatorial line. So electric field on axial line of an dipole. Let's draw our dipole. This one is minus Q and this one is our plus Q, and these are separated by a distance of 2a, and we have assumed that our test charge Q is placed at an point P. Length of dipole is 2a. Distance from the center of the dipole to our test charge is r. So what will become distance from plus Q? It will become r minus a. Similarly, distance from this minus Q will become r plus a. You can check it out. Okay. So let's start our derivations. Let first of all find out the force due to this plus Q. This plus Q will apply force on this charge and it will become in this direction. Next, this minus Q will apply force on this charge particle in the opposite direction. Wait a second, beta. Let's rewrite. This is our test charge, which is placed at point P. This charge is plus and this test charge is also positive. So electric field will be in that direction. Similarly, this is minus Q and test charge is positive. So direction of electric field will be in toward left. And we can easily find out that distance from plus Q and P is lesser than distance from minus Q to P. So the magnitude of E1 will be higher. So our total electric force will be in the direction of E1 minus E2. Why? Because E1 is greater. E1 is greater because distance between E1, which is from plus Q to our test charge, is lesser than comparison to minus Q to our test charge P. So let's put the value of E. What is the value of E? K Q by R square. So what is the distance for this plus Q? Plus Q is R minus A whole square minus of KQ divided by R plus A whole square. Now let's take the LCM of this quantity. What will we get? R square minus A square whole square. Here we will get R plus A square minus R minus A whole square. If we solve it out, or by opening the whole square of both these terms, we will get KQ into 4AR divided by R square minus A square raised to power 2. Next, as we know that our dipole moment, which is P is equal to Q into 2A, and P is in smaller form. So it will become K Q into 2A into 2R divided by R square minus A square raised to power 2. I have broken down 4AR. So this will become KP2R divided by R square minus A square raised to power 2. So this is our electric electric field on axial line of an dipole. Our next topic is electric field on equatorial line of an dipole. Electric field on an equatorial line of an dipole. So let's draw our dipole. This is minus q and this is plus q charges, and we want to find out at this p point. This p point is on equatorial line of this dipole. So what are the distance? This whole distance is 2a. So this distance will become a, obvious. Next, the distance from minus q to plus point, our p test charge will become, if this one is r, then this will become a square plus r square raised to power 1 by 2 using Pythagoras theorem. Now let's draw the direction of forces. This minus q will apply a force of attraction on this charge, and the direction of the force will be in that direction. This one is E1. Similarly, the force due to this plus q on this test charge will be in that direction. Let it assume E2. Now let's resolve E1 and E2. I am going to draw them here. This one is E2 and this one is our E1. Magnitude of E1 and E2 are same. If this angle is theta, then this angle will also become theta, alternative opposite angle. So this angle is theta. If we resolve them, what we will get? We will get, if we resolve E1, then E1 will be resolved into two components, E1 cos theta and E1 sin theta. Similarly, if we resolve E2, this component will be E2 cos of theta and this component will become E2 sin of theta. As you can see that E1 sin theta and E2 cos theta are in exactly opposite direction and magnitude of both the quantities are same. So these two will cancel out each other. Only E2 cos theta and E1 cos theta will give us net electric field. So total E will be become equal to E1 cos theta plus E2 cos theta. E1 cos theta plus E2 cos of theta. As we know that E1 and E2 are same, so it will become 2E1 cos of theta. Why E1 and E2 are equal? Because the charges of our dipole are equal in magnitude. So let's put the value of E and cos theta. So what are the value of these quantities? So first write 2. What is the formula of E? K q by r square, and r square is our r square plus a square. Okay, this half is cancelled out by r square. Next, what is the value of cos theta? If we see in this triangle minus q and this center O and this P point, we easily find out our cos theta. So our cos theta will be equal to a by a square plus r square raised to power half, base divided by hypotenuse. If we solve this, we will get 2kqa divided by r square plus a square raised to power 3 by 2. Now we know that from dipole moment, what is dipole moment? P is equal to q into 2a. Put the value of P, we will get kp divided by r square plus a square raised to power 3 by 2. So this is our electric field on equatorial line of an dipole. Let's start our next topic. Our next topic is flask. So what is electric flask? Electric flask is the number of electric field line crossing a unit area. Okay, this term is known as electric flask. Next, beta, one second. Electric flux is the number of electric field line crossing this given area. Okay. Next, our Gauss law. So what is Gauss law? Gauss law states that the flux phi crossing an closed area will always become equal to 1 by epsilon naught of charge enclosed by that surface. Okay, what is Gauss law? Phi is equal to q by epsilon naught. This 0 here denotes the closed loop integration, means our surface is closed. So let's use Gauss law. Before using Gauss law, let's prove Gauss law. Proof of Gauss law. Proof of Gauss law. Let we have a sphere and this sphere contain a plus q charge, so electric field direction will be in that direction. Let assume an Gaussian surface which is ds and normal of this surface is n cap. Let's find it out. We have to prove Gauss law, means we start from EDS, because this is the flux. We have to prove this flux equal to q by epsilon naught. So let's start. Integration of E dot ds will be become equal to, E will come out from the integration and ds will become equal to integration of ds. So what is the value of ds for this sphere? Area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. Okay, now put the value of E. What is the value of E? Value of E is equal to kq by r square into 4 pi r square. Now by putting the value of k, we will get, what is the value of k? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r into, better this will become kq by r square. Okay, value of electric field is kq by r square. By putting the value of k, 1 by 4 epsilon naught into q by r square whole into 4 pi r square. Now 4 pi to 4 pi and r square to r square will cancel out. What we will get? We will get q by epsilon naught. So this will prove that integration of E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught, which we have to prove. So this is the proof of Gauss law. Next, derivation of Coulomb's law from Gauss law. From Gauss law. Now what we have is our Gauss law. E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught, and what we have to derive? Gauss law. So let's convert this E dot ds into Coulomb force. E will be out of the integration and ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. Okay, by putting the value of eds, what we will get? What is the value of ds for this sphere? It will become 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon naught. And if we find out the value of E, what we will get? We will get q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. I have taken this quantity from left side to right side. What we get? E. Now let's convert this E into F. So what is the relation between E and F? F is equal to Q into E. F is equal to Q into E. By putting the value of E from this equation into this one, we will get Q1 Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. So we will get F is equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by r square, which is our Coulomb's law. So we have proved from Gauss law to our Coulomb's law. Okay, now let's come to next topic. Applications of Gauss law. Applications of Gauss law. let's first electric field due to n wire. So let's try to find out electric field on a wire. Let's assume here we have a wire which have positive charge density on it, okay, and we want to find out electric field due to it. So to find the electric field on it, we have to assume an Gaussian surface which enclose our given surface. So we assume an cylinder which enclose our wire. Now what is Gauss law? Gauss law state that E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. Let's convert it. E is outside of the integration and ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. What is the value of ds? What is the surface of this cylinder? The surface area of an cylinder is 2 pi r l, because we have taken this length as l, is equal to q by epsilon naught. So what is the value of E from here? The value of E is equal to 2 pi r l into epsilon naught. So this is our electric field due to an wire. We can further simplify it. Why? Because we have charge density, not charge. So let's convert this charge into charge density. We have an wire, so charge density will be equal to linear charge density, and this will become equal to dq by dl, or we can say that q by l. So by putting the value of q into this equation, we will get lambda dot dl divided by lambda into l. Why? Because we have taken our full length of wire. Lambda into l divided by 2 pi r l by epsilon naught. L to L will become cancel out. This will become equal to 2 pi r epsilon naught. So this is our electric field due to an wire. Now let's discuss our second application. Second application is electric field due to an cell, spherical cell beta. So let's assume here we have a spherical cell, and this cell contain a plus q charge which will get distributed to its outer surface. Now we have three cases. One is from outside the cell, second is onto the surface of this cell, and third one is inside this cavity or inside this cell. So let's find out. First, outside. To find outside using Gauss law, what is Gauss law? Integration or closed loop of E dot ds will equal to q by epsilon naught. So this will become E integration of ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. What is the value of this ds for this sphere? The value of this is 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon naught, and the value of E from this equation is q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. So this is our electric field due to a cell outside of the cell. If we have to find on the surface of the cell, on the surface, what we will get? We will simply convert this small r into capital R. So this will become q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. Okay, and inside the cell, inside there is no net charge. Why? Because this plus q charge will become or will distribute on the surface of this cell, and inside this cavity or inside this cell we will have net charge equal to 0. So this will become 0 by 4 pi epsilon naught and r dash square. R dash is the distance inside this spherical cell, and this will become 0. So electric field inside this spherical cavity is 0. Let's plot our graph. If this is the distance r and this is the radius r, this distance is capital R, and we want to plot a graph between this r and E, electric field due to this spherical cell, what we will get? We will get a graph from 0 at r is equal to 0, E is also equal to 0. Inside the cell electric field is 0, so up to this capital R we will get the value of E as 0, and at R what we will get on the surface of the cell? we will get this equation as maximum. What we will get as maximum? So our graph will become something like that, and after that we will get this as inversely proportional to r square. Okay, as these are surfaces, we can easily put the equation in charge density form. If we want to put this, let's see, I am going to erase this plot. If we want to rewrite this equation in the form of charge density, what we will get? We will get E is equal to Q, surface charge density. Surface charge density is written by sigma, which will become equal to charge divided by surface S. So value of Q will become sigma into S. Put the value of here sigma into S, and S is here 4 pi r square. And what is the value of this r? This is the capital R. Okay, divided by 4 pi epsilon naught capital R square to R square is cancel out, 4 pi to 4 pi cancel out, this will become sigma by epsilon naught. Okay, similarly you can put the value of Q here. In any questions in which you are given charge density, then you can easily convert the charge into its density form. You can put here, anywhere in this equation you can put or replace the charge to its density form. Let's discuss our third application. What is our third application? Electric field due to an solid. Our next topic is electric field due to solid sphere. This time our sphere is solid. So let's assume this is our sphere which have an plus q charge density which is distributed inside it, and we have 3 point. One is outside, second one is on the surface, and third one is inside this solid sphere. So let's use Gauss law and try to find out this electric field at this point. So first one is outside. So what will be the value of electric field outside this solid sphere? We know that from Gauss law E dot ds is always equal to q by epsilon naught. Okay, let's put the value of ds and take out E outside of the integration. What we will get? We will get E integration of ds is equal to q by epsilon naught, and value of ds is 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon. Sorry we, एक second beta, you have to take epsilon, not epsilon naught. Why? Because this is the this is the permittivity of this material. In previous case in which we have an hollow sphere or cell, we have air or vacuum inside it, that's why we take epsilon naught, which is our permittivity of free space. But in this particular case we have an material inside this solid sphere, so we have to take it as epsilon naught, epsilon. So value of E we will get from here is E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon r square. Okay, this is the electric field outside this solid sphere. Next one is on the surface. So let's try to find out it on surface. Before we are going to find out it on surface, let's find it on the inside this cavity, because this will make our derivation very easy. Inside, using Gauss law, which is E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught, and here we take as epsilon because our solid sphere have some material inside it. Now let's put the value of E integration of close integration of ds, and this q is the charge density inside this cell. So we have to take a particular limit of this density. Okay, so let's convert this density into volume charge density, because our sphere is solid and volume charge density is q by v. If we find out the value of q from here, we will get rho into v. So put the value rho v by epsilon. Next we will get E into 4 pi r square 4 pi r square is equal to rho. And what is the volume of this solid sphere? Volume of this solid sphere, the volume of this solid sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by epsilon. Beta, again always remember that you have to take epsilon, not epsilon naught. Now if we find out E from this equation, we will get rho 4 pi r cube divided by 4 pi r square epsilon. This will gives us rho r by 3 epsilon. This is the electric field inside this cell. Now let's find out on surface. As I have previously told you that this will make our derivation very easy. So E will become equal to rho r by 3 epsilon. We have to just replace this small r with capital R and we will get our answer. So this is electric field due to an solid sphere. Let's plot and graph for this. If this is our y-axis and this one is our x-axis, and on x-axis we have taken distance and on y-axis we have taken electric field, and this is our r, which is the radius of our solid sphere. Outside, first we discuss inside. Inside, electric field and distance have a linear relation. E is directly proportional to r, so the nature of graph is an straight line up to r point. At r, this density is maximum, this electric field is maximum, and outside the cell, E have a relation of inversely proportional of square, or we can say that inverse square. So nature of our graph will become something like that. Again beta, always remember that graph of 1 by r or 1 by r square will always be something like that, and graph of r square will always be an straight line. Okay, the power of these quantities is only replace the slope of these curves. So this is our electric field due to an solid sphere. Our next and last topic is electric field due to an thin sheet. Electric field due to an thin sheet. E due to thin sheet. Let's draw our thin sheet. Let's assume this one is our thin sheet which have a positive q charge density, or we can say that sigma is equal to q by, या हम बोल सकते हैं sigma is equal to dq by ds. This is surface charge density. Electric field due to this side of this sheet will become equal to E1, and from this side it will become E2, and total E will be due to E1 plus E2. Let's put this value. So our E will become equal to 2E. Why? Because E1 and E2 are equal. Now using Gauss law, and what is Gauss law? Gauss law is E dot ds phi is equal to E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. Let's put the value of q. So E dot ds is equal to sigma into ds by epsilon naught. What we will get? E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. But this E is not in our case. What we have inside of this E, we have to put 2E, which is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Why? Because this E is only for one surface and we have to find it for two surfaces, one for on the upside and one is downside this plane. Okay, so this will become E is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Okay, do not forget to replace this E with 2E. One is due to this surface and one is due to this back face of this thin sheet. And for thick sheet, if this sheet is thick, we will get 2 times. So what is the 2 times of this quantity? Why? Because sheet is thick, so we have 2 surfaces, one and one is behind it. Okay, so one electric field is due to this front face and one is due to this back face, and or we can say that this thick sheet is built up of number of thin sheets. So if we assume it as this, we will get 2 times of electric field due to an thin sheet. So this will become sigma by epsilon naught. Always remember that you do not have to take n numbers or 3 or 4 thin sheet to build this thick sheet. Why? Because this sheet only have 2 surfaces, and any charge given to any conducting surface will be distributed over it surface. So we will get 2 thin sheet. One is on front face and one is on back sheet. Only 2 sheet. So this is our topic for thick sheet. Now you have to revise your notes properly. Like there are some topics we do not cover, like electric field lines, difference between Gauss law, Coulomb's law, or difference between charge and mass, or electric field inside between the regions of these thin sheets. So you have to revise them from your notes because these topics are very easy. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.